to do when it's all said and done is have the library become the main point of destination in our school. It's one library or two. We believe that we have the ability to turn our library into a point of destination, and that's what we would like it to happen. Obviously, we have financial limitations, and we need to figure out how we can make that happen. Questions that you have of me and or the experts?
Couple of comments. So first of all, I'm very much in favor of not throwing money at something only to re-rip it up in the future. So I like that idea. I would ask, and I'm sorry I missed the name, but could I ask the librarian to come to the podium so we could ask her some questions? Not to put you on the spot, these would be easy answers for you.
Okay.
I know that you know the students and the library, so otherwise I wouldn't ask you these questions.
No problem.
So I think my first question is, obviously you know the most about it, more so than anyone, as far as student needs and what the students are using. So how do you see this as a positive impact for students moving to one library versus two?
Well, like he said, we're not sure if we're going one or two yet. Libraries have changed a lot. Right now, we have a lot of, in my opinion, we have a lot of duplication of services. With the internet and everything else like that, when they built the two schools, they had to have the two libraries. They had 10 social studies teachers on one side, 10 on the other. They're all using the same materials. They don't do that anymore. It's on the internet. So we don't need all of that stuff. We could put our money to much better use and provide so many more things. There's so many more things out there that I would love to do with those kids. And I think they would really like it. All libraries have changed.
Can you name a couple of those things?
Can I name a couple of those things?
Yeah, not to put you on the spot, but such as?
Oh, how the makerspace, the 3D printing, the esports, the opportunity to come in and do some green screen. The kids go past downstairs on the whatever hallway that is. I get all my letters mixed up there yet. But the main hallway, they go past and they see all these things happening, but the only kids that can use that stuff are the kids in those classes. This would allow them to do all their other activities that they want to do, with going towards personalized learning and have the opportunity to create their projects and have access to the materials to do it and the equipment to do it would be so awesome. So.
Just one of the comments when we went to visit the libraries, all of them have one school that's larger than either east or west. They're not as big as both of them put together. But their library selection was significantly less than ours, and the reason is because they have done a good job of weeding out reference materials. You still have the reading materials. That's still a major part of the library, but the internet has provided so many more opportunities for the reference selections to be from 100 down to 10 or from 500 down to 50 or whatever the case might be. And so when we talk about downsizing some of the materials, one of the biggest areas is in the reference. And I don't want to
The reference and the nonfiction.
Yeah.
It's more popular fiction, getting the kids to read, working on their reading skills, having things available for that. Yeah, absolutely. Our collections have changed a lot over the years. When I first started 20-some years ago, we were almost 3/4 nonfiction and 1/4 fiction, and the times have turned and we're flipping the other way, so.
In all three of the libraries that we visited, what we saw was a lot of areas where not necessarily a closed off room, but maybe just a petition that comes out and there was a place for 5 or 7 or 3 kids to work off to the side. And it's not a quiet sleeping zone library the way it was when I was a kid. It truly is a interactive area. And so when we were at Kettle Brain, for example, there was maybe 10, 12 different spots where kids could go, and they really focused on, it was a major study environment as well as just a library. And it was fun to visit all three of them. I was very impressed. I think all of us were.
Absolutely.
So in the proposed 2019-2020 implications, would the West Library be of any use, or would it be completely off limits basically and being renovated during this time frame?
Dave and or Tim, you can help me out, but I believe the answer is that we're gonna keep the study hall for West for use, but the east part will be ripping out the carpet, we'll be ripping out some walls, we'll try to do that so it doesn't have a distraction, but we won't be putting things back in place until we figure out what it is and where we wanna do it. So, long answer to a short question is I believe that it will be out of commission for the entire 19-20 school year.
That's generally correct. I mean, we're gonna try to have really the bulk of the work done by the first of the year, so that if there's a large group need for a space, we could potentially use that space, but we really would like to try to keep it out of circulation if we could.
You know, one other quick comment is that, obviously, this is my first year, but when I visit with Kim and Tim and Dave, I think this discussion has been going on for 10 plus years. Tim, you can help out.
I've been in the district 15 years, and this is, I think, the second or third time we've looked at our high school library configuration, the space, carpeting always comes up. So Kim and I envision very much like you see our district technology plan. As we start this process for the West Library, we are gonna develop that library media plan for our K-12 buildings, and so facilities is a big part of that, you know, and Don talked a lot about that this evening of what does that space look like, and not putting something down and ripping it up. You know, a lot of the libraries we see designed today are large, big rooms, and you have the furniture in it that can move to meet the needs of what you're doing. You know, the only thing that really stays in one spot is the bookshelves, and even in some of those locations, the smaller bookshelves are on wheels and so forth. But we envision bringing you that plan that talks about some of our goals, K-12, and part of that would be the space determination at the high school at that point.
So the budget for this right now is $105,000, that's it?
Correct.
And so, I mean, we're not talking a renovation here, we're talking new carpet and.
We're talking new carpet, tearing down some walls, patching in, coat of paint. We'll still have ceiling and lighting to do, but again, that gets determined when the function gets determined so that we can put everything in the right spot.
Yep. And 105,000 comes out of the
Capital budget, correct.
Are you bringing this to the board for discussion tonight simply to?
Yes, it's already in the agenda, in the budget plan for the $105,000. And so at the same time, I don't want to take out one library, a major component of our school, by just saying, Don, yeah, go ahead, you guys can do that. So I'm asking, not necessarily for you to vote, but I want to know, are we okay with us going forward, knowing that for 19-20 school year, we're gonna have one library in use and not two. We'll have all the adequate space, we'll have the books available, principals are gonna have to work on scheduling, librarians are gonna have to work on making sure that we have everything there. We'll have extra books in the one room so that if we have a run on whatever book it might be, we should have availability for others to be checked out. Currently, we use some of that space for, at the end of the school year, we collect all of the textbooks and we store them in the library. So we're trying to figure out where's the best place for us to be storing the the textbooks for English or math or science or whatever, and kind of go from there. So, but yeah, not necessarily asking for permission as much as I want you to tell me, no, Don, this is not good. We don't think this makes sense. Try to make it happen so it's just during the school year, put the carpet in and don't worry about anything else.
Just one more question, One more question, can you talk about, are you concerned at all about capacity? So now we've got, if this moves forward, we've got all these kids trying to get into the East Library. I mean, you obviously see the numbers coming through there. I don't know how the study hall actually works in the library, so.